How's it going, guys? This is Matt Mays, and this is episode 1 of The Flow Show. We've got Jonathan Kennedy over here recording, and I'm super excited to share this with you. This is a concept that has really worked to enhance my creativity and just leveled me up as a person, something that I'm really excited to share with you, both in the psychological sense and the practical sense, how you can apply this to your own lives. First, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine something that you're deeply fascinated with, something that you have a level of skill at. Think about what that sensation felt like for you when you're in that state. So what I'm going to be talking about in this series is how that breaks down into levels of mastery that are tied to skill enhancement, and 2, where that state actually comes from and methods that you can use in your own sense. Anchor yourself, document what that sensation is like, identify patterns for synthesizing a plan that involves what you found, and ultimately that leads up to flow, getting into that state of awareness and that state of execution to be able to just absolutely crush it at something that you love. I'd like to break down what's actually happening in your brain when the flow state occurs. You have your alpha brainwave and your theta brainwaves. In your alpha state, that's very much tied to the state of awareness, logical thinking, and your theta state happens much more when you're in a dreamlike state. So when you're asleep, it's more freeform and much more imaginative. So what the flow state is like a convergence of those two states. You're both hyper-aware and you're also very creative at the same time. I'm going to go into more detail on this later. The second component of the psychology and the course of the series that we're going to be going over are the 5 levels of mastery that you need to know. So the first is novice, then adept, expert, virtuoso, and master. So you might be wondering how these break down and what they all mean in your journey, developing your skill, developing yourself along the course of your life. Let's start with the novice state. So when you're a novice, you're just dipping your toes in. You might find books, you could find YouTube tutorials. You're basically immersing yourself in that first level of skill development, whether you want to play piano, draw, develop your social skills, or whatever it is that you're doing. And there's an excellent TED Talk on this that talks about the first 20 hours of focused practice in this state. Setting goals. Basically, you're trying to find the best techniques for a beginner that you can that are going to help you to get through those first 20 hours, at which point you reach the adept stage. And the adept stage just means that you have a measurable level of skill at something. People oftentimes get stuck there. They can get frustrated, you could get a little bit discouraged that you're perhaps not going as fast as you want to. One example I like to use is that knitting is a hell of a lot easier than juggling, especially juggling bocce balls, if you're as crazy as I am. And developing that skill at that stage could take a little bit longer than you might be comfortable with. One thing I like to tell people is that it's not about who's ahead, it's about who has more velocity or more drive towards something. It's really about how much drive you have and how much that just comes from interest. Typically, when someone transitions from the adept stage to the expert stage, that's really a matter of putting yourself in a position of doing that thing in the most efficient manner. Like if you're a comic book artist, you may be familiar with Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn. He started his career as an artist for the Spider-Man comics. He's world-renowned today and an even more excellent artist than when he started, because he put himself in a position to do that thing over and over and over again. An old teacher of mine said once, an amateur practices until they get it right. A professional practices until they never get it wrong. So with that being said, the key thing that you want to do here is just try and keep your antennas up and look for patterns. You'll start to see things in a radically different light. You'll see yourself in a different way. You'll see the practice that you're doing in a more three-dimensional fashion. So, what have we gotten up to this stage? The immersion of the novice, that curiosity, developing skill at the adept stage, the discipline of the expert, the divergence, the virtuoso. Where is this all leading up to? How does this bring me to the point of mastery? Well, let's kind of define mastery for a second. You have to have purpose. That is the capstone of this entire culmination of your skill. So what do you envision for the future? What are you actually trying to achieve? I would say Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Elon Musk, big masters, because they've actually developed something, innovated, pioneered something through these pillars of skill development that's actually brought us forward as a species. So in summation, I want you guys to really think about what your motivations are for doing this thing that you love to do, besides the fact that you love to do it. What is it about it that brings joy to your life? So in the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to set your fears and your goals with a powerful technique called anchoring. So guys, I'm super pumped to share this with you. Be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Alright, we done? Yeah, we're done? Okay. Cool. Bye you guys. It's been fun. See you next time.
You guys are still here? The video's over. We're done. It's okay. We'll have another one out next week. Alright, bye guys. Have a good night. See ya.